Hogan, here's the twist I want to put in this. Without getting too far into what I want to go with in terms of where I think this heads, do you think that we will regret this debate happening this early? Meaning, did we give the Dems potentially the chance to figure out, wow, we have big problems?
I think they knew they had big problems. I think this could have been a tactic to kind of expose it even more. Listen, it's an eternity till November. I'm sorry, guys. This was a great night for Trump, night for Republicans. But the Democrats want one thing, and that's power. Their every action is how do we gain it and how do we maintain it. If that means throwing an octogenarian to the side, they'll do it. Okay? If that means propping up Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom, they'll do it. If that means letting in millions of people on our southern border to get them on the government dime so they'll vote for Democrats in perpetuity, a few people get raped, murdered along the way, whatever. It's fine as long as they gain power. So I'm concerned to see what Democrats are going to try and do. But the dust will settle here. And I think Democrats kind of are rallying now. You've seen a lot of folks like Hakeem Jeffries, Gavin Newsom even came out and said, no, this is our guy. Bad night, big deal. He's still a better president than Trump will ever be.
Are you going to be the next Democratic nominee?
No, our nominee is Joe Biden. I'm looking forward to voting for him in November. He's going to be our nominee.
Because you know that everyone are talking about you as a possible nominee now.
I think that's kind of where they're going to settle on their messaging points. The problem is it's much like with the border or much like with the economy. The reporters, the media, the administration is telling you, the American people, hey, what you feel, what you see, what you know, that's not real. You're too dumb. We know better. And when they saw what happened on that stage last night, the American people solidified that opinion. Even those that were on the fence, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know he was this bad. Like I said at the beginning, no cheap fakes, no deep fakes. This was him at a podium, no edits. You saw him mess up on multiple occasions. And yes, you want to say Donald Trump lied? He didn't. As you said, Sean, I can go through lie after lie for Joe Biden. This was a disaster for them.
That was the other thing. I mean, listen, he got up there and said a bunch of stuff about prescription drugs, Afghanistan withdrawal, all this. And I'm like, if you're going to say that Donald Trump lied, then, okay, Joe Biden had a bad night and he lied. Like, Grace, are we going to regret, same question, having a debate this early?
No, because I don't think we had an option. Like Trump said, anytime, anywhere. They obviously knew that they wanted to give themselves more time. They wanted to do it earlier. But what I find interesting now is like, who's going to be doing this assessment of what's the better option? Because like Hogan said, the dust settles. They're all still rallying around him. You really have to weigh which one is more dangerous. Do we bring in a new person? Do we skip over Kamala Harris? Do we try to sub in Gavin Newsom? Or do we just hope for the best with Joe Biden? And the part about it that I think is really risky for them is that, let's say you do sub in Gavin Newsom, okay? He's got the hair gel. He's a little bit more presidential looking, whatever. People still are aware of the fact that for the past 4 years, the White House has lied to us. The media has lied to us. And now they turned on a dime this morning about the debate. They expect all of their followers to do the same. That's how I told people today, I said, there's two options here. Either you think that the White House and the people that surround Joe Biden and all of the Democrats are so obtuse that they don't see that this man is in cognitive decline. They're so stupid that they can't see that. They can't put two and two together. Or the only other option is that they're lying to you. And I don't know if that sits well with people. I don't know if I want to vote for a party that's pulling these kind of stunts in a presidential election. Either way, whether they keep them or whether they don't.
All right, Doug, I've been dancing around this. So let's just get to the elephant in the room. The chatter last night among Democrats is, can we, should we, are we able to replace Joe Biden? So what do you think?
Look, it is a problem. Look, last night, the death knell in many ways are the concerning point. Let me rephrase that. Concerning point for the Democrats was not between 9 and 10:30. The concerning point for Democrats was between 10:30 and 11:15, when you had every on CNN panel, MSNBC panel, everybody else start the replacement theory conversation.
By the way, hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is going to be so awesome because you just rebranded
replacement theory.
The replacement theory.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Well,
First of all,
there's your replacement theory right there.
I hope that
the
was
replacement
you.
theory
I
is
hope
get
that
rid of
was
Joe
your
Biden.
idea, Doug Collins, because I'm giving you. Well, I won't give you. I'm going to steal it,
We'll
but
steal it.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Tucker
Look,
Carlson. By the way, Tucker Carlson's like, see, this is the replacement theory.
Yeah, it's to get rid of Joe Biden theory. And then you go into this morning when you have every New York Times columnist, opinion writer, basically say the same thing. That toothpaste is now out of the tube. No matter what happens, there's a 30-second ad in late October that reminds people of this night. Okay, even if he stays. So how does Joe Scarborough, who went on this morning and talked about how much he loved Joe Biden and now says it's time to get rid of Joe Biden, walk that back? How does Van Jones last night, who said how much he loved Joe Biden and now going to have to walk that back? They can't walk it back. Something would have to change, which means, by the way, I'm going to point out the basically what I say liberal reporters and how they've been dealing with this. Rachel Bade, Politico, actually said last night, this has been 4 months since the State of the Union. I've not seen basically in essence such a decline. I retweeted and said, imagine what it's going to be like in 4 more months. And for those of us who've actually dealt with those who have cognitive issues, there's two things that pointed out to me last night. Number one, we've seen this before. It's not deep fake. It's real. But number two, did you notice after really Joe Biden began to realize something was wrong, he began to use terms like, what the hell is he talking about? He started cussing. That is an unusual play for a public official, but it is not unusual for those who are struggling within themselves to find the right answer.
Doug, 100% correct. And I'll tell you what was interesting to me. I'm in New York. I was doing NBC and some other stuff last night. The pile on from the media here, as if they just found Jesus on this all of a sudden, like we hadn't seen this forever. Yeah. But here's what was fascinating to me. It does make me worry. I need to put a tinfoil hat on. It does make me worry that all of a sudden they're kind of like giving the off ramp all in unison, as Democrats are wanting to do. Everything's in, they say the same thing all the time. But basically what the media was saying was, listen, we've been covering for this guy for decades. We definitely been covering for him for the last 4 years. Now it's impossible to cover for him. Joe, Democrats, help us help you. We've been helping you. We've been there. We've been covering it all up. We've accused them of cheap. We even made up a term, cheap fakes. Please, Lord God, you've done great, man. I'm telling you, we can't cover for you anymore. I found that to be kind of odd for them. But look, had Joe Biden gotten out a lot earlier and said, listen, I've done what I came to do. I beat Donald Trump. I got the economy back, and now I'm stepping aside. That's one thing. Now he would do it in failure. It would look like, okay, now you're over the hill. Everyone knows it. You had a horrible debate performance, et cetera. I don't think he has the self-awareness. Definitely, his confidence is way overblown for no reason. I think he's going to try. His ego is not going to let him get out of the race at this point.
Now, Jill, at this point, I don't want to finish that thought because I think it's right. And going here, let's also deal with the fact they can't. Here's their other problem: they can't get rid of Joe Biden. The Democrats for years have so tightened their process on their Democratic convention and their delegate counts. And remember, delegates to the Democratic convention come from the organizations. They don't come from delegates in the Republican Party, which are very conservative, but come from individuals. They come from the teachers' unions, the other unions. They're all walking in a straight line. And they're told how they have to vote by not only the rules in many states, but also the rules of the convention. Jill Biden and the ones closest to Joe are the only ones that can convince Joe to stop this. And then this goes back into Obama kicking him to the side in 2016. This goes back into the whole issue of y'all have always thought that I was the idiot from Scranton and y'all have always made fun of me. I'll show you now. And look, the worst thing that came across last night from most Americans is they saw how bad it was, but then they saw Jill defend it and enable it. And I think that walking off the stage last night was awful. He had to turn sideways to get down to the first step. And then when she got to the event, said, Joe, you did so well. You answered every question. We're not in kindergarten. This is the president of the United States.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
Amazing. Grace Curley, real quick. What do you, I still can't get over this because I first of all, I'll associate myself everything with Doug said, just to be clear. One, Biden is bitter about how he was treated by Obama in 2016. So he's not going to let Obama come in and tell him what to do. 2, the only person that could do this is Jill. The rules are such that the only way he gets replaced is if he chooses to step aside. I think that Doug and Hogan are right. His ego won't let him do this, Grace. And that's the thing, is that I think they set off alarm bells. I just don't think that there's a fire department that can come put out the fire now.
Yeah, Doug's right on the money about what was the worst video from last night. I mean, obviously, there were some from the debate that are going to go around. But as all of us know, if you watch Joe Biden for more than 5 minutes, you've heard all these things before. Like this, a lot of last night was just his best ofs. I mean, there wasn't really a mumbling mess up that I hadn't heard before. But Jill Biden looking at the audience and saying, and what does Donald Trump do? He lies. It was like Edith Wilson or something. You got this look of this woman who's power hungry and just wants this so badly. And the part of that I find weird is that, you look at Hillary Clinton or you look at some of these first ladies throughout history and you think, well, some people have political ambitions of their own. Some people feel like I'll be the first lady and then someday I'll be something. For Jill, I really think that it's as shallow as it gets. I think she likes flying private. I think she likes the fancy houses. She likes the Vogue covers. I really think this is just about the stuff. And every woman I talked to today, and I'm not exaggerating, every single woman who's called me up, my mom, the people I work with, all said the same thing. It was sad. That's what they said. They didn't come in mocking Joe Biden. They didn't come in saying, Trump killed it, we're going to win. Every woman came in and said, that was really sad. And I think that that's what's going to stick with people is who let this man do this?